Hello, this is just a little note to all the YouTube viewers. It's currently 28 minutes past 12. It's now the day that the episode's going to come live, and I've just realised that when I was recording the Zoom call, I've managed to zoom it on my face for 5 minutes in the middle. So, just a note: when that happens, you will be able to see the other people eventually. Just give it a bit. Sorry. Anyways, intro.
I could just be like, hello, welcome. This episode is still not fucking sponsored.
Yeah. There we go. We'll just have that. We'll just have you saying that. Hello, everyone. Welcome back again to episode 2.
This video is brought to you by fucking nobody.
NordVPN. What do you want to go for us? Who's the other one? Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Yes.
We're open to offers.
Anyone. We'll take anything at this point. Welcome back to episode 2. I'm one of your hosts, Tommy, also known as Drakula.
I'm Stidz, also known as Liam, also known as Stidz.
And I'm Callum, also known as Stompz.
Welcome. We've got a great episode for you today with Banditt, MC extraordinaire. We decided last week everyone's just an extraordinaire.
Now on, it's going to be a recurring theme also.
We're host extraordinaires, obviously. But yeah, before we get into it, just thought why don't we? What you boys been up to this week? Let's have a natter.
Working. Did a shit set for a live stream.
Yeah, I'll say that actually because I can't remember if I was going to say it at the outro of last week, but I think I forgot. Me and Noah from Gunfinger Sounds, but then also all the other crews ran basically a charity live stream over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with like tons of residents and headliners from all the Newcastle crews, and raised over £1,000 for charity, which was
nicely done. Whoop, whoop.
Nicely done, yeah. And me and Stidz are working on a new one, which keep your eyes peeled for that one.
Yeah.
The lineup we've got for that's fucking.
I mean, people are probably going to be watching this when they're having a shit in 3 weeks' time, and the live stream will have been in the bed.
Probably.
But
if you're watching this tomorrow when it comes out, because we've not been fucking prepared this week, then it's it'll be announced this weekend. But yeah,
it is daft, but it's the biggest live stream lineup I've seen literally all of lockdown, and I'm not even gassing. It's not because it's our thing. It's genuinely the biggest lineup I have seen on a live stream this whole lockdown.
Yeah, I went to the library yesterday to do some work, and I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna just shoot me shot and send messages to everyone. It's all UKG Garage 140 type people. Just shot me shot to fucking everyone. And amazed with some of the people I've got. If you're into garage and bass and all that sort of stuff, the slower stuff, not the fucking 174, then it's right up your street because I'm fucking buzzing.
I can tell.
No, honestly, Callum, I haven't showed you the lineup yet, mate.
Oh, mate, I'll send you.
Send you actually. While we're on this call, I'm going to send you the lineup, Callum, right now, so everyone gets
okay.
I'll do it now because I'll just add it. I'll just add who
I've already sent it, bro. I've already sent.
All right, go on. Look at that.
It's fucking daft. Hurry up, Callum.
Yeah, it's fairly good. That to be fair,
Yeah.
Garage 140 fans are going to be bouncing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be daft. I'm really nervous because I was playing my own set on something alongside them names. Shit.
Oh, nobody cares that you're doing it, Steve.
Yeah.
It's gonna be daft.
Stop,
it's just the fact that the fucking video is gonna be there alongside it.
It's a different thing when it's a live stream as well.
Yeah,
because it's there and people can comment and judge, and it's left there for everyone to see.
That's what I'm talking about. Everyone's gonna be watching all these sick DJs, and then I'm gonna turn up probably fucking Mortal or something and just clanging to bits.
Well, if you're gonna be watching, remember to leave your crewless comment directed towards Stid in the comment section below, just to get him.
Yeah,
spur him along a bit.
Get him hyped up before he records his set. Put his morals down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so keep your eyes peeled on that. Probably share it on the. Well, you'll hear about it next week as well, but we might share it on the fucking. A Pirate Material. That's what you need to follow on Facebook. I forgot to say that.
Pirate Material Music on Facebook. Pirate Material NCL on Instagram.
There we go. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Other than that, yeah, not really been doing much. Tune of the week.
Loads.
Well, I've been doing loads. You've been
hella busy.
I've got a list of fucking stuff I need to do here. Uni work and artwork for people and edit this podcast ready for tomorrow.
In case anyone hasn't clicked on yet, Tommy is the organised one.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be so sure. I've just got the most things to do.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't say that. I'm pretty organised when it comes to the podcast stuff. It's just this week's just been busy for everybody. Everyone's just been pretty wrapped up. It's been a pretty hard one to do. Obviously, the lockdown ends fucking tomorrow. So everyone was not be busy anyway.
Well, not for us really, because
Yeah, for you still, but.
Well, actually,
the podcast is going to evolve in the next couple of weeks, though, because us three can actually link up, hopefully, in the very near future for the podcast. So it'll be better. The chemistry will be a bit better.
You're not going to be sat watching us fucking ugly mugs on your screen.
Yeah.
All separately, we'll be ugly together, so the ugliness will be amplified.
Yeah, it'll be triple.
And you'll just have an all-round better experience.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we stop chatting shit? Tune of the week. Let's do that. Let's run through that quick.
Who's first?
You, Stompz. Go on.
Oh, go on then. I've been listening to Duncan by Molecular because it's just sick. It's like kind of old school techie roller, late 90s, early 2000s kind of vibes. Anyone who likes like DLR or break, that's going to be right up your street. Little funky subby drum and bass number. It's cool.
Yeah, who wants to take the second round? Should I just go because I'm already fucking told?
Yeah, you may as well.
It'd be weird if I fucking pass it on to you, you know what I mean? We might as well just let me chat shit. I've been listening to Cigarettes on Patios by Baby Jakes. I think a lot of people know which tune that is. Probably won't know the name and the art of the tune and the artist, but when they actually hear the tune, like, it's wild and it's mad. But yeah.
And I'm going to shout out some lads from Newcastle who run like a little record label brand type thing called Northside. It's like Garage 140 that's really small at the minute, but they've just put out a free download last week. It's like a 4x4 like speed garagey sort of wobbler basically, and it's hard. So it's Coinsy, bump that, and it's on Northside on SoundCloud. Rate that. It'll be in the description, but shout out to those boys because they're proper class. And also, I've got a guest mix on there from ages ago. If you
just a cheeky little self-plug there.
Always.
No shame in that.
Right. Shameless plug.
Stop chatting shit. Let's introduce our only guest of the episode. It's Banditt, Ed Banditt. Lovely bloke. None of us really knew him before last week. Probably admit we're actually a bit apprehensive, just sort of like I don't know really what to expect because we didn't know him like last week with Tom. So like these two proper knew him, so they knew that the banter would flow and stuff. But it was a really, really good episode. We talked about all sorts. Talked about his journey into MCing and writing bars, like his record label, the state of the different music scenes and the events industry, his Warzone loadout. All sorts of stuff. Really good episode, like really happy with it. Anything else you boys want to add?
I thought the content was quite wholesome, to be honest.
It was good.
I would be inclined to agree, yeah.
I think I've actually made like a friend out of it, you know what I mean? It's not just like, oh, that was a guest, yeah. So like I think he's a good crack. He's one of the boys. Yeah,
proper nice lad. Well, we'll stop talking about him and let him talk about himself. Welcome, episode 2, in a bit.
Yeah, Ed, that's the most important part.
Can everyone hear everyone?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Thank Jesus
Right.
Christ. That was a fucking right fanny on, wasn't it?
Technical difficulties have plagued us, but we're live. We're ready. We're here.
Mhm.
We're going. We Gucci.
So, welcome, Ed. Sorry for the rocky start.
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much for asking me to come on.
Hey,
Not a bother.
no bother. Yeah. Well, why don't you start off with just introducing yourself? That'd probably be the.
So my real name is Ed. My made-up name is Banditt, and I'm an MC. Done bits with all kinds of producers. You may know me from Sunshine Rhythm with Disrupta or Frequency with Ben Snow. Just two of my latest tracks this year. I tend to do all kinds. I've got my own little record label called Draconian Audio. We don't really release drum and bass, but yeah, we release all kinds of stuff on the bass music spectrum, and based in the south of England. That's about it, to be honest with you. Just happy to be here, happy to be included.
It's all right. I love that made up name. Like, no, I've never heard it ever. Everyone says, "Oh, this is my artist name is
My alias.
But no.
Yeah, my alias.
Yeah,
You know what? What I learned from that is, as this is the Green Room podcast, I'll plug you there. What my
Just plug us on our own podcast.
Whenever I'm playing a show, the icebreaker, if I'm in backstage or the green room with someone I don't know, is are we using our real names or our made up?
Oh, I made up.
Oh yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Every single time.
Mate, I once put a show on at the O2 in Newcastle. I won't name any names, but I remember like just walking through like sound checks and that, and like shaking hands with some of the artists and that. And I was like, "Oh, you alright, mate? I'm Liam." He was like, "Oh, and like gave his alias, and I was like, well, I fucking didn't ask what your alias is, man. I want to know who you are, bro. Like, come on, like it's like how I don't go around saying like, oh yeah, I'm fucking asylum events. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I think a lot of people take themselves way too seriously for a start, and by saying, by admitting and breaking the ice that you're saying you're using a made up name, it sort of takes the ego out of it.
I love that.
No, so I can see where you're coming from, man. Like as soon as you said like my made up name, I just thought straight away like Avengers. I was like, I'm Captain America, me, like thinking superhero shit.
You know what? That's exactly where it's from.
I was gonna say it's Spider-Man, isn't it?
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
It's Spider-Man.
I thought that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see, we see this guy swimmingly already.
That's because you used that line.
Yeah, literally, man. Well, I'm gonna make it a little bit awkward now, right? So describe yourself in 5 words, mate.
Oh.
As an MC, I'm expecting bigger things than what we've already heard from other people. Because Jesus fucking Christ, everyone always shits themselves at this question.
Blimey. Okay.
I love it. I love watching people squirm under the pressure of it.
I love how this puts a full stop to every podcast. Everyone's just like fucking
Jesus Christ.
I'd say
Yeah.
sarcastic. Funny.
Yeah.
Sick MC.
Yeah. That's 4. Yeah.
That's 4 words.
What was the last one?
Humble.
There we go.
I would say.
Sick MC.
Sarcastic. Welcome, Banditt. Sarcastic, funny, humble, sick MC.
Yeah, man. That was a great episode, man. Thank you.
Yeah, that's me done.
Cheers, mate. Nice seeing you.
Enjoy that brewski, mate. But no, it's interesting. Like we've had DJs and whatnot and promoters on the show, so like it's interesting to kind of speak to MCs as well and sort of find out, how like COVID and whatnot's kind of affected you guys as well, if you know what I mean. It gives a different perspective because that's what we're trying to get, is like a perspective from kind of everybody in the industry. So it's good to have somebody who's quite an accomplished MC to come and let us know.
Oh, come on, mate, you're making me blush. I'm sure there was at least 4 on the billing above me that weren't available.
No, man,
5 actually, but it's fine.
No, we've got a good steady like flow of people to come on the show and things like that. So
who have you had on? Who have you had on so far?
So by the time this episode's out, we'll have had Sota's episode will have been done.
Sota's a wicked producer, man.
Yeah, man.
Sota's cold.
Mm.
Yeah, Sota's been popping off lately, man. He's got some crazy stuff coming out. It's mad.
Yeah.
And a funny bastard.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You've got big expectations to live up for, and
Big shoes to fill.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, Sota was a good guest. We've known him for a long time, especially Stompz. Like he's known him longer than us, and we spent a lot of time like through lockdown playing fucking Call of Duty and that together. So it was fun to interview Tom and sort of delve into him as a person and stuff like that.
Are you? Sorry to interject. Are you, man? You play Warzone a lot, do you?
Yeah,
yes,
man.
we do.
Right. Okay. So my turn to ask a question. Right.
Here we go. This happened last time.
Every fucking time, I swear to God.
Yeah, man.
Right. I want your loadout from each of you.
I don't play.
It changes. It
depends on what mood we're in.
It changes. It's situational as well. Usually I run like a kilo with a commando, 60 mags, a monolithic suppressor and a VLK and an SP.
Yeah, I'll do the same. I'll do a kilo or an M4 with the pretty much same loadout and fucking a fire shotgun or an SP.
Oh, come on,
man. Don't even get started on the fire shotgun. I've had his life about this.
It's just easy, mate. You just walk in and one tap somebody.
I bet you used to have the snake shots before they
were
Yeah. Oh, God.
Ridiculous, mate. Ridiculous. Tommy sat next to you, he doesn't fucking play COD, so look at his little face.
I know, I got it on Xbox in like through lockdown. My mum gave me my little brother's old Xbox fucking one, like the first one. And I played it about 5 times, bought like 6 months of Xbox Live, bought Warzone, played 3 times with my mates, and then never again. I got no.
Fair enough. I rate not being addicted to it.
I'm a PC gamer. That's the problem. I've got like.
Mate, I'll play on PC as well.
Yeah, I've got like.
You get the Xbox controller. You plug it into your USB on your PC, and away you go.
I've got it somewhere.
Yeah.
But I've got like 600 games or something on Steam. I've had it since I was about 7 years old. So
I can vouch for this because I used your Steam account maybe 2 months ago, and there were a lot of fucking games on there. So Tommy's a big nerd.
I've played about 10% of them as well.
What's your highest hours on any game on Steam?
Oh Christ. Well, Gary's mod.
Oh wow!
Oh, Christ!
No, I used to play that. I got that when it came out, which was 2008 or something.
I don't even want to know how many hours of your life you've spent on that.
and so Steam says it says 600 and something, but it only started registering it when I was like 13. So there's the entire age of me being like year 6, year 7, year 8 that I used to play it like every day. That is just not. It's just not counted. So it's probably easy 3 times that.
So 600 hours apparently equates to approximately 25 whole days of your life.
You beat me to it. I had my calculator ready.
Proper old school Casio, yes, man.
Come on.
Easily.
Yes, I'm really that, mate. I've not been that since I was in year 10.
Some serious numbers, mate.
I thought that was your burner phone.
Look, mate, we don't judge MCs here, mate.
Sorry. That was a bit of MC prejudice on my part.
Oh, shit, man. But yeah, I mean, how have you found sort of releasing like music through a lockdown? It's a very weird time because obviously everyone's sat fucking nothing they can do is listen to music. But
mate, to be honest with you, it's been real difficult for me to make anything this whole lockdown. Like I haven't a lot of the tunes that come out I had written before, so it was just a matter of recording them. The Sunshine Rhythm I done all throughout lockdown, which has been really successful, to be fair. So that was that was one that I wrote during lockdown, and then I did one with Ben. But apart from that, I've literally only been writing songs. I haven't written any. I haven't sat down and written any sort of like live set material or anything like that, because I've been in a real bad sort of writer's block, to be perfectly truthful with you, because I can't just, without there being someone sent me a song or a project and saying this is the sort of vibe I want on it, for me to sit down and put a mix on and sit in front of my computer and get my pen and pad out without live sets to play at and try out new stuff, for me it's just been a bit of a myth, to be honest with you. So in terms of output, like, it might look like I'm putting out a lot, but that's literally been all I've done. Like, I haven't done any, I haven't really been doing anything else apart from that, which I definitely think is due to like lack of inspiration from not being able to play shows and things like that, which really has affected me. To be
I was gonna say, I'm assuming, like, I've definitely found, because obviously, like, you know, you get sent new tunes, you get sent fucking new material, you make new music, and then you test it out at the weekend, and that's your inspiration for, like, as a DJ, I find that anyway, that's your inspiration for, like, you've got like, right, I've got a gig on Friday and Saturday, I'm going to get this wrapped up, and then I'm going to test it out, and then I can see how it sounds on a rig, see how people react, and then get it done. Without that, there's a bit of a lapse of, like, that workflow structure's just
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. And I think I've found that with almost everyone that I've worked with as well, because I've sent vocals to producers in July, and I still haven't had the tune back. You know what I mean? Because there's not that motivation for anyone to finish it, because even if you wrap a tune up, it's not going to come out for 6 months' time. You know what I mean? So it's like, and even if it's not really doing the rounds as a dub, like, you get some tunes, obviously there's like that homegrown tune that Fives did and stuff like that, which are those really big A-list tunes which are doing the rounds as dubs, and there's building hype around it from the live streams and things like that. But it's sort of like the proving grounds of like normal producers and things like that who send their stuff out to gigging DJs, because there's not that, then it's only really, you have the feedback from your mates and your close circle and things like that. So it's all well and good getting that feedback from people who you know, but it just isn't, like you say, it's not the same as trying out a new bit and going like, getting that reaction for the first time, and it's completely different, and it's a really, it's a weird time for everyone, I think, in the scene. But one thing I will say is that I don't know if you guys would agree, but I think the production level has gone up loads.
100%.
I would definitely have to agree.
100%. Even the sound design, the quality, everything is just, it's gone up another level. Like, it's exciting.
I've heard it in other artists. I've seen it in even in myself, like in my, because there's just been such an abundance of time and fuck all else to do other than like COD and drinking tea, that like I've got like I as well as many other people that I know that I've spoken to this about have had so much time to knuckle down on really specific things that they probably wouldn't have spent a lot of time on otherwise.
100%.
As well as, I think people making music or concentrating on music more to listen to rather than let's bash this out in a club at 3 o'clock in the morning. Do you know what I mean?
You see, that's another thing I would agree with as well, 100%, because I think the streaming and stuff like that has really taken off a lot during lockdown as well. Like, I've noticed my streaming numbers have absolutely skyrocketed. And it's like, I think I've noticed a pattern with a lot of people, like they're putting out their EPs and their releases, and it's not so much of a focus on chart position, because I don't think that as many DJs and stuff are buying music. I might be wrong, but I think in terms of like streamers and like punters listening and consuming music in their own homes, I think that has really, really increased, because a lot of people might be having little shubs in their house with a few people around, like, and I think that's how people are consuming a lot of music at the moment. And that's made people focus, I think, more on stuff like mix downs and quality and artwork and things like that, like which before previously you used to get some slapdash tunes which were just punted out as a free download as like a club banger, you know, whereas people more are taking the time to think and put projects together. So I don't know, I think that's just how it's changing at the moment. So
arguably I would say that has been a bit of a positive thing. I think that's one of the things like in the scene that I would like to not see go away when we get out of lockdown. Is like I would like that, because people have now taken a bit more time to, like, you know, for, like you're saying, for artwork and for actually piecing projects together to have a bit better flow and stuff. Like I'd like to see that sustain itself when we get back to
100%.
lockdown, and not just go like, oh, we're making dance floor bangers again, because I think it's going to be really easy when the clubs reopen, because everyone's going to be out and everyone's going to be like fucking going in. Do you know what I mean? So it'd be very easy for people to drop back into like, let's make club tunes again.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I see something that you know, TJ from Pick and Mix.
Yeah,
I see something that he posted the other day, and it was like the quality control in drum and bass is something that needs to be maintained at a certain level, like because it's what, as a genre, I think can be really limiting, is the lack of quality control and barrier to entry into the scene. Like you get, you know, anyone, and it works both ways. Like it can be really good and it can be really bad, because it can make people blow up overnight from one SoundCloud banger, but it can also be detrimental as it lowers the overall quality of the output, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, I know what you mean, because I've seen, like, there's some people will be putting out, you know, they can have a really strong tune, whereas like back in the day, if you had a really strong tune, that would go out, and if the rest of the strong tunes didn't back it up, they just weren't going out. Do you know what I mean? Like those wouldn't go out, and you wouldn't get another tune out until you come up through with another really strong tune that surpasses or is equal to like the one that you've previously done. But I find like you say, with quality control, there's a lot of shit can get put out now, because there's people aren't being strict, which sounds quite blunt to say, but I think the quality control is definitely important, because if that entry level is so low, then like it's not pushing people to improve on their sound and improve. That's important for all of us as a whole, that everyone's improving on their sound. That's how we move forward. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but if you just look at the sound quality from people such as Mackie G and whatnot, there's a reason why these people propel themselves to like the forefront of the scene and stuff like that. And you know, there's a reason why Mackie G drives a fucking Lamborghini. It's because, you know, he puts that time into his tunes. His tunes sound, you know, amazing. You know, I mean, even though it's not my sort of sound of drum and bass, it's not my kind of part of it. It's not what I sort of listen to daily, but it is for some people, and there's a reason why. Cause
you can't argue with the guy's achievements.
Yeah, you can't at all. You can't do it.
I don't know. I was just gonna say, to me, like, obviously, Mackie gets a lot of shit, but like back in the day, Mackie was making the grimiest jump up that anyone has heard. Like that, he did a remix of a Dominator and Telecom tune. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but it's a banger. Like he made some really grimy stuff, and obviously he's known now for that, you know, that popular, like the big Belgian melody stuff, and like that. People hate on that because of Tour, and Tour went massive. That was an enormous tune.
Sorry,
on a level that, like,
what tune?
Tour.
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 Please.
I didn't know what you were talking about there.
There's the language barrier.
Tour. That's how we say it over here.
Yeah, but you say bath. You say buff. And we
Bath.
Yeah.
Bath, mate.
The bath.
Bath.
The
Bath's a type of car, mate. The Bath's a type of car manufacturer, bro.
Bath's a city, mate.
You get a Bath P500.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I see that.
No, bro.
No, you've got to respect the hustle, like, and especially like any artist, like where they sort of make a sound and it propels that genre into the mainstream, like with the foghorns and everything. Like if you make a foghorn banger, like on the off chance, and it blows you up, then you're obviously gonna carry on making that sound.
Yeah.
And the same with Mackie. The same with, like, you look at like the bassline UK bass sort of scene. Like everything changed after like Holy Goof did that God's Plan remix.
Yeah.
Like,
No, literally.
Like it's that sort of same thing.
Yeah, that was a huge tune, man. That blew him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. And now look at Holy Goof, man. He's one of the most successful people that come from the bass scene.
Yeah.
It's crazy what he's doing, man. And
That
yeah,
was them Legoland days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't
man.
know if any of you guys were in that.
Oh, yeah.
in that
No,
bit.
we back it.
Yeah,
we
we're
back
about.
it.
We're about.
Yeah, we're about it. That chip butty, mate. Oh, yes, please.
I'm a
Chip butty,
baseline
bro.
boy at heart, mate. Always.
Yeah.
From
That's what I started off. I started off with the bassline crew, to be fair.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Yeah.
You're like multi-genre, innit? You're not just D&B. You do all kinds.
Well, that's the thing. I started off hold tight all my Oxford crew because they're the guys who booked me first of all, like Bert Cope and
Alright.
played
Yeah,
at
shout out,
Cellar
Bert.
and This Is UK were the first brand that ever sort of booked me. But and that
Right.
was when bassline was really popping off. You know, like
Yeah.
we almost sold out. We sold out a venue in Bath called The Nest. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but it's a real good venue, and we sold it out with quite a small lineup, and that was when bassline was really popping off, you know. And it was the energy and stuff in the raves was really sick. It was almost equivalent to what D&B is like now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now, like, I never even see bassline lineups around.
See,
you
I
know?
would say baseline to me is taking a little bit of a hit in terms of like small, like say like 300 to 500 cap venue shows.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You're not seeing that stuff anymore because I think
No.
they've had that issue of like almost similar to like what the Jump Up stuff did with like going back to like Mackie and stuff when tour was at its height around that time, maybe 2015 to 18 or something, when it was Jump Up was the sound. Like I think people were starting to get really sick of this sound because they're hearing the same thing over and over again. I would say like with the popularity and the repetition of the sound and people soaking up so much of the same thing. I found that like the bassline, because it got so popular, it almost took a hit, because now you see huge bassline lineups at like festivals, big big shows, but you're not seeing it in the grotty underground clubs anymore, which is a bit of a weird phenomenon.
No, for sure. Like you'd see like, for example, TQD were like as prolific as King of the Rollers.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen TQD on a lineup for probably 2 years now.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, mate. I saw TQD back in August 2018 at Leeds Festival, and then I booked Flavour D for a show in Newcastle in February. But other than that, I mean, DJ Q does the rounds sometimes and that, but it's rare that you see them as an actual like unit. You know what I mean? You either see it's either Royalty or it's DJ Q or it's Flavour D. They don't.
That was actually on purpose. I have listened to a podcast with Flavour D where they said like they'd done like 2 or 3 years touring as TQD and they wanted to give it a break, and like they said they might come back to
fair.
it. It wasn't like they've not been booked. But,
No, that's
but on
fair
that point,
enough.
I think that's the thing, is like it did blow up that much that the big people got really big, but then there wasn't really like there is some like not mid tier, but you've got like Zero, that sort of level of producer, like who you could book in a smaller venue and it'd sell really well, but it's the big people are too big for those small cap venues.
Oh,
like,
the fees went crazy. The fees went ridiculous
Yeah.
in baseline.
Yeah.
Like they went nuts. Like a sort of a mid-level headliner was like 1,500 quid at one point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, man. I touched on it in a previous episode that like fees are outgrowing venues now. Like you can't sustain it, you know what I mean? And then everyone's either the scene is gonna just tumble, you know what I mean, and end up crashing, and people are gonna have to drop their fees like stupid amounts, but then they're gonna get in loads of debt because they've been earning this much money for so long that they've got this ridiculous lifestyle to support, and then bang, the fees have to drop because the scene will die out that way. But it all depends. It all depends who's going to pay stupid amounts for tickets to go and see some DJs like in Wembley Arena. You know what I mean? Like it's not often that it's going to happen.
You know what? On a countenance to that, I think when we're allowed back in shows, I think the scene is going to go mental because I think punters will be paying any money.
People aren't going to give a shit. Like people are just going to go.
But this is the worry, though, is that the promoters, such as myself, we've taken such a financial hit from this we ain't gonna be able to fucking pay the fees to book the artists if that happens. You know what I mean? If artist fees inflate loads because punters will pay whatever, promoters are gonna struggle unless it's a big company, say worried about Henry, for example, who have the capital. You know, local promoters are gonna become a dying breed, really.
No, I don't disagree, mate. Honestly, the thing is as well, it's a double-edged sword because, like you say, you get the big massive promoters who are the limited companies, and they've got the big financial backing and things
They're
like that.
going to thrive off it.
Yeah.
But then you've also got now what we're going to see is some companies are going to monopolize what venues we have left, because there's going to be a lot of venues that are shutting.
Yeah.
And there's only a set few number of venues which can run, the 500 to 1,000 capacity venues, which is where you make the money, and some promotion companies are going to say, look, we will give you a show a month and guarantee you this through the door, but no one else can play shows here. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be, there's going to be lots of sticking points, I think, for promoters are going to have to either work with each other and agents as well. I think everyone's going to have to work with each other to get the things like rolling again.
And say that's something that's not really, history looking back. Promoters don't tend to, get on too well or, negotiate things too well between each other. It's just historically known, the things can change, We, up in Newcastle, we have a massive sort of group where we tell each other when there's bookings, who's got what, when, where, why, just so that you don't step on each other's toes. But, I've heard a lot of sort of promoter war stories from around the UK and stuff, and there is a conversation kind of that does need to be had, but it's just weird, everyone's going to have to kind of, as you say, pull together and get through it that way, because it will cause a massive sort of crash in the scene, and we don't want that when it's getting to the point it's at now.
I reckon let's jump back in time a bit then. So I'm interested to know how you started, like writing bars and MCing and spitting over sets and stuff. Like, where did that come from?
You know what? It's actually, to be fair, it's one of them things. So I started making beats and things like that. I've always messed around on Fruity Loops and making tunes and that sort of thing. Still haven't ever made anything that I've put out, but I'm sitting on tons and tons of unreleased stuff that will probably never see the light of day. But who knows? Never say never. But basically, I found producing really difficult, and I thought spitting bars was a bit easier, less barriers to entry. Right? So when I studied at Reading Uni, and a really good friend of mine, who I actually own my label with, a guy called Sempra, probably the hardest jungle producer in the UK, like real 160 breaky jungle. Like,
let's have a little look at this.
Mate, no, honestly, I'm not even gassing. The guy's got a co-sign from Coco Bryce, so you don't really need much more kudos than that. But so the guy was doing a set at Reading Uni, and was like, "Oh, have you ever hosted a set before?" And I was like, "Nah." And he said, "Well, do you want to come and host mine?" I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, why not?" So I come through and I spit the same 32 bars for about 45 minutes. And
I've seen plenty of sets of people doing that. Don't you worry.
I've seen people do less bars in more time. To be fair, so that's not bad going.
And I think back to it now, and it's one of those things. I'm sure you guys have made tunes as well. You're just like, fucking hell, what was I doing? Some of your early tunes and things like that.
Oh
and
God,
early sets and stuff that I've done. I'm just like, thank fuck none of them were ever recorded. You know what I mean? So it's like, and so it grew from there really. I got a residency with a brand called New Base Order, based in Reading, who are a big brand in Reading at the time. Still are. They do a lot of big shows, and obviously this is UK as well. Who were that baseline brand that I was saying? They were my sort of first external company who booked me and paid for sets and things like that. And through New Base Order and them, I got my first couple of sort of big bookings. I remember my very first big set was hosting for Annex at a Govan Friends.
Nice.
So their MC didn't turn up, or something like that. And I was meant to be on the set before, and the promoter was like, "Do you want to host for Annex?" And I was obviously like, "Yeah, fucking course I want to host for Annex."
Fucking yeah.
and it was sold out as well. Like, this was a club that I'd been raving at for years, you know, and I'd been in the crowd and
Yeah.
I've been like, oh, I wish one day, you know, to be up there, sort of thing. And it was like, obviously got this opportunity, and it was completely sold out. Like, it was sick. I really, really fucking enjoyed it. And yeah, from there, you obviously, when you get a booking like that on your CV, you can sort of blag your way to other bookings, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's where it started. And then obviously New Base Order put me on a couple of their Outlook launch parties. So they had some really big lineups, like Voltage. When Unglued released, was just coming through. It was the same night Unglued was on. I didn't host for him, but I met him. Really, really lovely bloke, actually.
Yeah,
Really
Unglued
nice
is so
guy.
sound. He's one of the nicest artists I've ever spoken to. Unglued.
Yeah,
He's
really,
fucking-
really nice.
he's-
And then, yeah,
he's
so
sick.
from that, I just basically blagged my way to where I am now.
The art of the blag. That's what it's all about. The art of the blag.
That's all I do, man. I just fucking wing my
You
life.
got
to
to, man.
bits.
Like, honestly, that's the thing. And obviously, I can't ever stress it enough how important networking is. Like,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
honestly, 95% of any success that I've had has been down to me and my ability to talk shit in the smoking area or the green room. Like,
Yeah, that's it.
100%, like, or add someone through a tenuous Facebook link and find some sort of common ground based on
Yeah.
something or other and spark up a conversation with them.
No.
Like, and that's literally how it's been. You know, I've done. I'd message a promoter and go, "Oh, I've seen you got this night on. I've done this set with this. Do you know this guy? Blah blah blah. Like, have you got any space for me or whatever?"
Yeah.
And yeah, that's basically it. To be honest with you, I've only been, what year is it now? 2020. I've only really been sort of MCing for about 2.5 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, what
So-
other genres have you kind of have you dabbled with? What else do you write to? Things like that.
So baseline, obviously. I did a lot
Yeah.
of baseline hosting. I've got mad love for dubstep in it. So 140 stuff.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
kind of guy. Yep,
Like,
lovely, love it.
That's
Yep.
what my label release is mainly, like, really
Yeah, I was gonna say
gritty sub low 140 stuff. So I used to host quite a bit of that whenever I got the opportunity. But
Yeah.
drum and bass was sort of a it's the most, you get the most bookings, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's always drum and bass raves on. I can count on one hand the amount of times I see a dubstep rave outside of a festival. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
unless you're living in Bristol. And the thing is, with those sort of ones, you've got a even more small group of hosts than you get in drum and bass. You've got about 10 dubstep hosts who are.
And I think
Who
those
have
guys
been
are really tightly knit as well because of the nature of that being a smaller scene now.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's not something that I would want to be doing necessarily week in, week out, because it's like, I think it's a real sort of specific sound for, like, hosting on dubstep and things like that. And
Yeah.
I've never really considered myself like a barer enough to be doing grime sets. You know, I'd have had a little dabble. I'd do like a 16 or a 32 if it come on in the rave and that sort of thing. But I'd never feel confident enough to stand toe to toe with, like, an Eskimo dance. You know what I mean? You know, that sort of thing. So it's like, I consider myself to be on a set, like, much more of a host, but then I do a lot of my barring and stuff in the studio, like, over tunes and that sort of thing. So
Yeah, I mean,
I
me
feel right.
personally, I prefer a host in a rave anyway. I think. I mean, obviously, you know, you gotta shout out, obviously, like Skibber and Shotter and all these man who, like, do crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know, I like going and having a host who maybe does spray 16 every now and again and this, that, and the other. But it's not, I prefer hosting. It's just my kind of. I'd
think
rather
it's
go and listen to that. It's more of a double act then, in my opinion.
I think to me, like, with MCs, it's similar to music in the sense that it's subjective. So, like, obviously you might have 50% of the crowd will be there going, like, I want to hear more 16s, like, I want to hear more bars, I want to hear them going in. But then you've got the other 50% there going, like, I wish he would shut the fuck up and let me
Yeah,
tune.
no,
Do you
you're
know
not
what I mean?
wrong.
It's just
no,
like
100%.
whatever you do, I think you're gonna get that, aren't you? So
It's the same. I think you know what? I think it's the same with even DJing. It's the same with any genre. You just cannot please everyone. You know what I mean?
Never,
You can never
Yeah.
please it. Like with DJs, you know, they'll drop a jump up tune in like a rollers set, or they'll drop a liquid tune, or they'll do too many wheel ups, and people are always going to find something to complain about. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like one of them things. Like as like personally, I've always had not a stick, but I've had like people in the rave and stuff come up to me and say, "Oh, you're way too relaxed." I had one geezer, right? I had one geezer who was an MC, and he come up to me and he was like, "Oh, how much K have you done?" And because I was just because at the time I was standing at the back and I was just hosting, you know, and this guy was jumping around like a madman on the mic, you know what I mean? And it's just like it's one of those things that's how I like to do my set. You know what I mean? I want to stand there at the back, maybe come forward, do a bit of this, bit of that, depending on how the set's going. But I don't want to be jumping around, taking my shirt off, you know, and waving it around like a madman. You know what I mean? So
that's it. I think you get some people who like love the limelight and want it's try and like steal the show. Like not necessarily like that stealing it, but you know, it's you want to compliment the person you're playing if you're hosting rather than take all the attention.
Yeah, no, but I think there's a time and a place though. Like I have, you know, some sets that have been going absolutely off. You've got to play to the crowd. That's part of the thing with it. That's part of the experience you build up. Like you know when to go in. You know what I mean? Like some sets, I will be jumping around like a lot more and getting the crowd really like. Because if it's a zoo, you don't want to be standing at the back trying to hush everyone up. You want it's a time and a place for everything. That's why I think you've got to be versatile as an artist. Like, because even some DJs, their own style, maybe they're known for doing minimal sort of stuff, but they come on after fucking voltage. You know what I mean? And the place is absolutely rocking. They're not going to be playing like, you know, stuff at 170. They're going to be keeping the vibe going because that's just what you got to do as an artist. You got to play to the crowd.
It's like I find like following from that, like I remember when we did Digi and we had Hazard up and it was like a 2,000 cat venue and like stop.
There it is.
But you know, like I like to play rollers. I like to play a few minimal tunes. I like to play a few jungle tunes. I like my blends. Like I'm not a jump up every new tune every fucking 8 bars. And Hazard's doing a new tune every fucking 16, and it's like it was next level now. It was just how am I supposed to follow that, you know? But you have to adapt, and if you don't adapt, then you can drop off. And learning that, especially like in the face of it, like that is really important, I think, as an artist and growing as an artist.
Sorry, would you say, obviously, you know, I've not really played too many gigs and stuff, like, would you say that that's more of like an innate gift to being able to adapt in that situation, or would you say that it's more experience, as you say? Like, would you say that it's something that you've adapted and learned, or would you say that it is just like your kind of intuition as a musician at heart?
I definitely sort of think it comes with practice for sure, because there's been a lot of sets, especially early on, where I've thought like, oh fuck me, I'm out of my depth here. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like you got to just sort of learn on the fly, like, and you got to just try and think, right, how can I not fuck up here and make it look like I know what I'm doing? And you know, it's like it comes definitely with experience, but I also think you either have it or you don't, because I know some artists who will flat out sort of refuse to sort of go outside of their comfort zone, I think, in some stuff, and it can really kill the vibe, I think, sometimes. Like if some people refuse to adapt to the situation at the time, and it's sort of it I don't know whether that's something that can be learned, or whether it's people's personalities.
It's a bit of both, I think. I think like it's definitely a skill that you can learn over time if you're willing and like you're open to learning it. But I think some people do just have an innate gift for being able to adapt to the situation that they're in, you know.
No, that's fair enough.
Yeah,
that's fair enough. 'Cause, I mean, I would personally like to think that I can like read a crowd and whatnot, but I don't know if that's just because some people aren't too clued up. I don't know. Some people might be a little bit slow. You know,
it depends as well. It all depends. if you're a DJ, it depends as well. It's like how many tunes you've got, what tunes you've got in your arsenal.
That's true.
Like, you know, so for an inexperienced DJ, he may only have a set's worth of tunes on his stick. So if he's a minimal DJ and he's come on some jump up DJ's been absolutely shredding it, he may not have a choice but to stick with what he knows, because he doesn't have the weapons in his arsenal to adapt. So I think it's definitely something that takes time, like, for sure.
I think when you've been through that experience, because I know I've definitely had times, or like when I first started DJing, I've turned up and I've been really underprepared and been in situations like that, and like you've got to take those situations and go away from that and go like, right, I'm definitely not letting that happen again, because like you can fucking kill a vibe doing that. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to do that, because if you're DJing or if you're MCing, like the whole rave and the event is like riding off your back essentially. If you fuck that, then you fuck the night for everyone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
at that moment in time, it's the most important thing for 500 people in the room is how good the music is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
No, that's it, man. And I've been in raves. I've through raves and that where the vibe has been totally killed off by somebody, and it's like, like there's
really
no kind of
difficult.
recovering from it. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's
It's
it.
hard
It's
to
so
recover.
difficult to get it back, isn't it? You can't. If it gets killed off and everyone piles out to the smoking area, people start leaving in dribs and drabs, and you know, it can literally kill the night dead.
Yeah, you say that, and I just got a thought then, and it was Stompz Newcastle Culture Clash 2010. Do you want to?
I swear it was you actually at the Culture Clash 2020 that killed the vibe, wasn't it, Tommy?
Do you want to explain that one, Stompz?
Yeah, come on, story time.
So I will explain actually. So the year prior, 2019, we were reigning fucking champions. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So obviously I came bringing what I thought was my A game. You know, I had a bunch of dub plates. I was playing unreleased Serum stuff. I had all the lively up dub plates. We had things from like fucking Gardner that wasn't out, and things from fucking like Top Cat and Levy that weren't out. Things that we made for us and stuff. Yeah, we had Chase and Status dub plates. So I put all of these stuff into a set, and it just wasn't vibing the same way the rest of the night, because it had gone totally different to the last one. And obviously I'd come prep thinking like, oh yeah, it's going to be exactly the same as the last one. You know, we're going to smash it straight away. Come in overconfident and just played what I thought would be fine. And it wasn't, didn't pop off as much as like everyone else's set. And I think someone had played some Makina, someone had played some Jump Up, people had played like Bassline, all different kinds of stuff had been played, and me playing some rollers and some jungle just wasn't vibing it. I don't think.
I wasn't even meaning that. I thought you turned the wrong deck off or something at one point. That was what I was.
Yeah, I was gonna say no, you did. You ruined the dub plate set.
Yeah, that's what I wasn't
Yeah,
saying
mate, you played the wrong dub in the dub plate set.
Skimmed over that detail.
I wasn't-
Completely skimmed over
It was
it.
a three deck setup, mate. 3-deck setup, and you press play on the wrong deck, mate. You loaded the wrong tune.
I honestly don't remember that happening.
No,
I can remember because Harry Dyson was fucking furious.
I remember when you walked in the green room and Jamie just looks at you and goes, I played better than you.
What a tosser.
Shout out Jamie Todd.
Yeah,
Ed, honestly, you won't understand how much like is actually riding on the Newcastle Culture Clash. It is the fucking biggest night of the year, hands down, bro. And like, so the two that I'd taken part in prior to this year's, we'd came like last, then third, then fucking now else, and then I started like co-running the reigning champions who'd won like the last 3 years in a row. So I was like, yes, sound. I was like, even if one of my events loses, this one I'll win. No, fucking both of them. I was like, oh man, the 1 year I look like I'm gonna win it. I end up fucking losing anyway. So yeah, I still haven't had any bragging rights, and now it's down to dilate that. But you know, they've won fucking best up and coming D&B night and whatnot at the D&B Awards. So you know, it's not like they're shit. They've got it on lock.
Is that Dilate Audio or something? Is it they're called?
Dilate Recordings. They've got a new label out, but they've got like a Leeds branch. They've got a fucking Durham branch called Defect. They've got Dilate, which obviously do Newcastle, and They're a big brand. You probably have seen them somewhere. Like they are a big brand. They've done lots of.
Shout
they've
out
done-
Dan.
Yeah, shout out Dan, mate. He's been doing it. He's been pushing it. What,
Big
7
boy
years
Dan.
now? Aye, Big Dan, who talks at
DH1
7,000
massive.
mile an hour. You'll be sat in the green room and be like, "Oh, you're right, mate. Aye, how you doing, mate? Aye, nice one." You're like, "What? What the fuck have you just said?"
It's a good segue, that actually. If Ed, if you have any interesting green room stories, since we are the Green Room podcast, that was sort of.
No comment.
Oh, is that it?
Oh, no.
Cold and
Oh,
calculated.
you cannot name names. We've done it not naming names before. Just any.
I honestly don't think any are suitable for public discourse.
Fair enough.
None of them PG.
Fair enough. Well, just on that then, because you said a couple of gigs that have you said that are like your favourites, like the Annex one. But like, what would you? Is there any that are like stand out? You know, not necessarily like
Yeah,
your favourite.
definitely. No, 100%. So, what probably one of the best in terms of me enjoying myself was D&B All Stars Summer in the City last year. I did 3 hours on my own. So I did Ben Snow, then AC13, and then Boo, like all back to back. And it was like middle of July. It was at the Cause. I don't know, Stompz, have you played at the Cause in?
I don't think I've done the Cause, no.
So it's like an outdoor venue in North London, and it was completely sold out. It was about 25, 30 degrees in the middle of July. It was just sick. It was so sick. The lineup was mad. Everyone was just vibing so hard. Like, it was really, really fucking really good day. So big up All Stars.
There's nothing like living in the sunshine, mate.
Then yeah, exactly. You know, and then probably another one was All Stars. Is what first and only time I've ever met you, Callum, was All Stars at E1, where I hosted. I hosted for Ben back-to-back Jappa in room 2, which, you know, greatest respect to, I think it was Fabio and Loki who were on in room 1, you know, which is a really, you know, fucking massive booking. But room 2 was popping off that whole hour. Like, it was rammed. Like, and was
that the more recent one before lockdown?
No. That
was that the one before?
It's about a year ago. So
It
was in winter. It was in October 2019, I think. So that one was really fucking good. Yeah. And then another one another one, just because it's really random, was just before lockdown. It was the last set I played. I was in Bulgaria skiing because my friend lives in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
And we seen that LTJ Bookham and Loki were playing
the venue
on our last night in Bulgaria.
Fantastic.
And it was a mad venue, huge. Like, the venues out there are massive, like, because they don't have that many raves and that many international artists. They'll have, like, you know, it's a 1,500 cap venue, you know, 2,000. It's like an O2 Academy, you know. Yeah. And I'm quite friendly with Loki, really, really lovely guy. And I sent him a DM on Instagram, and I was like, "Yo, seen you're playing this event, you know, I'm gonna come through." And he was like, "Oh, I'll give you, you know, guest list." So he gave me +2, and so I brought 2 of my friends along with me, and it was really, really difficult trying to get in because I had my friend who lives out there doesn't speak Bulgarian, even though he's lived out there for 5 years. So hold tight the Brits abroad in their stubbornness of learning foreign languages. Gotta rate it. So it was really difficult to get in because none of us had a ticket, and I was trying to Google Translate. I'm on the guest list in Bulgarian on my phone, and I managed to blag it in somehow and got some wristbands from somewhere. So me and my mates all got in wristbands, and it was really sick. So the local DJs were really cool, and I went backstage, and obviously Bookham, first and only time I've ever seen him. Blown away. What a gent. Absolutely unbelievable set as well. Him and Loki, pioneers. Like, literally cream of the crop, like best in the business, in my opinion.
That doesn't really get any better, you know. It's...
And so I was backstage in the green room, and the promoter was on the last set, and he asked me, he was like, "Oh, do you want to do the last set to me?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, why not?" So I closed the night off, and yeah, it was really. I don't think they had any idea what I was saying. The crowd, the only words they recognised was Sophia, which is the capital, and make some noise for the selector and that sort of thing, and they were responsive to that. But everything else, I could have just been speaking gobbledygook for all they knew. But they were vibing, and it was sick. And it was just completely spontaneous. You know what I mean? Like, I went there to have a little party, and ended up backstage meeting Booker, meeting Loki, playing a set. Everyone was having a sick time. So that's probably up there. And it was also the last set I played before lockdown, because I flew home on the second week of March. And then everything was locked off. So
yeah, man, it's crazy how fucking everything just got shut literally at the drop of a hat. Like, there was so much planned just in Newcastle this summer, and then bang, gone instantly.
It was. I'm sure it's been the same for you, Ed. Like, all of my bookings were just like I had stuff ready for a really strong kind of start of the year, and like back end of the year, and then start of the year. Like this year was looking to be one of the best so far of like my career, and then it was just like, nope. Next year, do you know what I mean? It's still it. Now 100%. We're still waiting.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, mate. Honestly, like it's the same thing. Like, I was hoping to really bolster, if not become full time in my income, in a way that towards music, like not necessarily do it full time, but make a significant amount of money from music this year as my own the first sort of year where that would make an impact for me. You know what I mean? And then like you say, it all just went to shit, and it's just been like, put that on ice, mate, indefinitely.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if on that note, have you taken any measures since? Because obviously, I was the same. I was kind of like, I'm gonna have a more sustainable income like this year, working hard and stuff. And then lockdown kind of put all that on hold. I just got a job. I've got a job now. I work full time again. Which is obviously like it's a bit of a hit as like an artist or someone who wants to go down like a creative path as a career path. That's a bit of a a hard thing to have to do. But like, obviously, I know some people have found ways around it, and some people have got into jobs. I don't know if you've had a similar thing.
So, as an MC, you don't earn any money anyway. So I've never sort of been full time.
Yeah.
But I was sort of when I finished uni, I was really trying to push. If I'm going to make it full time, I really need to focus on this. Blah blah blah. Because I didn't get a traditional sort of office 9 to 5 job or whatever. I've never really been that type. So I was working. Luckily, I was working all the way through it. And I'm self-employed. I'm a builder and stuff. I do bits and bobs and things anyway. So for me, I've literally only missed probably 2-3 weeks of work this whole year. So for me,
cool.
So for me, it hasn't really been much of a change, and I've actually been able to save a load of money. And it's not actually been negative. I've been really, really lucky and really grateful that I've been in work the entire year. I haven't, and it's also a pain in the ass because I haven't been self-employed long enough to get any government support. So I wasn't I wasn't able to get any furlough. So I was fucked basically if I didn't have any work. So I was offered 90 quid a week, and that would have been my lot. So luckily, I've been working on site and doing my own bits and bobs and that sort of thing. So I've just been comfortable anyway. I've been chilling. So I've been making enough money to hopefully save. So when we do things start kicking off again, I'll have that little cushion where I can push the music a lot more. So
see, that's definitely a thing that I've found is it hasn't necessarily, obviously everyone's very negative about the COVID situation, but I found predominantly it's I mean, maybe not predominantly, but I've found there's almost a 50-50 split between like some people have come off a little bit better, or it's given people a little bit of time to kind of sort their shit out and go like, all right, I'm going to do this and plan some stuff, and I can save for this now, and I can do this, and I've got a little bit of time. Whereas some people have taken like a proper hit, not just financially, but like mentally and creatively. Like it's been a bit of a. I've definitely seen a contrast. Some people have been positive and some people have been negative, which is a bit weird to observe.
No, yeah, for sure. Like, what do you? So, Tommy and Liam, what do you do day to day? Like, what's your day?
So I'm a software engineer, web developer, that kind of thing. I mean, I was hoping to kind of turn events like full time this year with like the things I'd sort of got involved with, the shows I'd had booked in and whatnot. I was hoping that I would make enough of an income this year from events to, to be able to put my time into that and start the podcast. Literally, that's what I wanted to kind of do with my spare time off it. But I'm just grafting away at the moment, just trying to sort of pick myself up. I've had a pretty shitty year regardless of lockdown, so it's just been sort of re-upping my life, ready for 2021, to be fair, mate.
I'm a student, mate. I just know them too. I DJ and produce a little bit locally and stuff, but I'm just here for the crack, to be honest.
What do you
Edit
study?
our videos.
Film and TV production. So
Oh, wicked!
Handy that, innit?
I'm the
Yeah.
one. I'm the lucky bastard who has to edit these.
Ah, fair enough. It's all experience, innit? Put it on the CV.
Well,
they love
that's
all
the
that.
plan. That's the plan, mate.
That's it.
Hopefully, this will be for the long haul.
This is going to get you some credit on that TV, man. That's
Exactly, bro.
Right,
No,
yeah.
that's the thing. It's gonna be a weird one. Sort of everybody coming back to the raves after the lockdown, and everyone's financial sort of situations being up, down, and everywhere, and all that kind of shit. And
It's gonna be
so people
emotional,
are
man.
oh mate, I will cry my fucking eyes out.
Oh,
Like,
mate,
the first
yeah.
time I walk into a club, mate. When I get into a green room, when I get into Worldie's green room,
dude, don't.
When I open that fucking door and I see my pals sat all around in the green room, I am gonna fucking drop to my knees, man.
The first time I actually set foot in a green room full in a city that I've been to twice before, with a bunch of people that I've met 3 times before, with a drink in everyone's hand, like I'm gonna be in my happy place. Like,
Yeah, it's a special feeling, honestly. Like, especially like you say, a lot of the relationships that you make as an artist are, you see these people here and there. You're like on a lineup, and it's like, oh, he's on that line. Oh, wicked! I get on really well with him, and you have a chat with that guy 3 or 4 times a year, but you have a mad catch up, and it's like for that moment you're best mates. You know what I mean? And it's like you got so much in common, and you got so much common ground, and you're both sort of there doing something that you love, sharing that moment. And it's like it sounds, obviously, it's, don't want to get too emotional into it, but it's like a connection that you have with these people that you see from the scene, and it's like, and all the ravers and everything as well. I see some ravers at different cities. You know what I mean? Like, I've made some friends who, I've made some friends who I've seen a raver at this city, and he's come up and saying, "Oh, I've seen you at this event," and it's like, it's those people that you meet and those connections that you have which enrich it and make it sort of more than just music. It's like
it is
it's
bizarre,
hard to describe. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
I think that's one of the things that makes drum and bass, or not even just drum and bass, but bass music as a whole, is like. But I find maybe it's more prominent in drum and bass a little bit. But people form such strong connections from such small, like, brackets of time and small meetings. But like, it's those people are so happy to see you, or you'll be so, like, I find myself being so fucking happy to see some people that I only see at gigs. Like, I might only see them if I'm in Bristol or if I'm in London, and that's, do you know what I mean? That's not it's not as often as I'm like, I see people that I know from up here, but like, I'm so happy to see those people still. And it's like, it's a little bit of a, not to get all emotion soppy, but it's a little bit it is quite like, it's emotional. It's quite touching that you can make friends with people from such small meetings, from something that you love and that you love mutually with these people.
100%. And that's honestly, I agree with you in the way that drum and bass has such a, it's like, I think with drum and bass, almost every single one of us, well, without fail, every single one of us started off as a raver in the crowd like anyone else. Whereas I find, like, I might be wrong, but the more commercial genres and things like house and techno, it seems the artists and the crowd are on a completely different plane. Like, they're much less accessible. And it's like, whereas drum and bass, the artists and the ravers are so interlinked, because we'll go into the crowd after a set and party with the ravers and things like that. And it's like, because we first and foremost than artists. We were ravers and people who love drum and bass. You know what I mean? So it's like you're just in that. I find myself so lucky, and it's almost like, oh, I'm on that billing. Someone's paying me to be here. Like I'd be here anyway. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
don't tell my agent that, but you know, like you know, we'd go there anyway, and it's like you meet these people, and it's exactly the same. Yeah.
No, it is a crazy one, man. It's a crazy one. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all we've got time for, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the Zoom's going to come to an end.
Yeah, I think the meeting's coming to an end, but I'd just like to say a massive thank you, mate, for being candid in your answers and bringing some good laughs, mate. You've been a good guest to have on. It's been a good time.
It's been a
mate,
giggle.
Thanks a lot for having me on. To be fair, yeah, I'd love to be on again if you'd ever have me. So
we'll definitely do some catch up episodes with like our favorite guests, things like that. And you've brought laughs and honesty and stuff like that. So it's been good.
We'll give best of luck with it as well, lads. Like it's a really it's a sick thing to be doing, because I think especially in a time like this, people want to be connecting with artists and listening to anecdotes, and it brings a sort of scene closer together in a way that live streams and stuff can't, because it gives that personal element to it for sure.
Yeah, well, that's the whole.
I think I've definitely found. I think during this time especially, people need to have that realization that all the people that work, like, while people are really upset and taken, like, people took for granted a little bit. I definitely took for granted myself that, like, the fucking amazing thing that we had in the scene.
Oh, 100%.
I think people definitely, while everyone can be gutted and complain that that we don't have the raves back, everyone definitely needs to realize that everyone involved in the scene are all people as well, and we've all been affected, like, hugely by what's going on. It's like our livelihoods are at stake now. So I think we kind of wanted to show that to people a little bit and just let everyone know that everyone's human.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah, personality behind the music is the whole.
That's the key. Well, yeah, man.
On that note, Ed, if you want to give you the floor for a minute, plug yourself, plug your socials, talk about what you've got coming up in the near future.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, let me just say big ups to you boys. Big ups to the Green Room podcast.
Respect.
Shout outs to Jordan and Sasha, who my agents.
The boys.
And shout out to Dale as well, man like Dale.
Big bald Dale.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Just add some context. Stompz and Banditt share an agent and this, that, and the other.
And manager. Yeah, I'm not just griefing his agent for, like, no reason. I do know him. Hold tight then, man. But yeah, so basically, I've just released a garage tune on my label called Care For with Sempra. We just got editorial playlisting on Spotify as well, which is
congrats.
super fucking sick. Like I'm nestled between Bonobo and Bicep and London Grammar at the moment. So,
fantastic.
I'm super happy with that. So check that out on SoundCloud, Spotify, Bandcamp, Draconian Audio. I've got a forthcoming release of forthcoming 2 projects coming out on Onyx in the very near future, and some other sort of liquid bits I've got going on as well. So keep your eyes out on that as well.
Brilliant. Well,
amazing stuff. Brilliant.
Thank you very much, mate. Be lovely to meet you.
Yeah, thank you, lads. Best of luck.
Same you, bro. Same you. Stay safe, bro.
Big ups, man.
2, 1. Well, yeah. So that was your episode with Banditt. We had a thoroughly enjoyable chat. We hope you did as well. We don't remember it that well because we did actually record it last week. But we do specifically remember being buzzing with the episode when it was finished.
We came out of it like just he left the call after, and we just all just sat there and just went, that was fucking mint. That what a nice bloke.
Good. What a sound lad. What a fucking
bloke
he was.
He dissed my Warzone loadout there, so fuck Banditt.
Yeah, he wasn't happy. He's not a fan of the kilo. It's Marmite, the kilo.
He's not a fan of the fire shotgun, man.
I'm not a fan of that. That's fucking abysmal. You want to be ashamed of yourself. But Warzone aside, we enjoyed recording that. We hope you enjoyed watching it, or did enjoy watching it. And next week You don't know what's happening because we have
Yeah.
a few episodes to film. We'll see which one we want to put out when we want to put them out. So keep your eyes on the socials, and we'll let you know what's happening.
Yeah, probably announce that
happen when it
on
happens.
Sunday, maybe once. Yeah, but otherwise, yeah, keep an eye out. Yeah, right. Fucking
See you next Wednesday.
Fucking see you later, lads.
in a bit.
I'll catch you later, mate.
Ta-ra.